I just got reminded of, like, you know when you fall really hard and it kind of, like, knocks all the wind out of you?
Oh, yes.
I remember that happened on the playground once, and all the kids were, like, crowding around the person laying on the ground because, like, you know, it's interesting. And the teacher's like, back up, give them some air! And my childhood self, like, took that to mean that we were stealing all the oxygen, and then the person in the middle, like, couldn't breathe. And so for a long time, I thought that, like, if you breathe next to someone, you're, like, kind of stealing their oxygen, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, there's so limited oxygen that you just steal it.
That's weird.
And you can create, like, this vacuum of oxygen if too many people stand around in a circle and just...
And welcome to the Topical Burrito.
Woo!
I am Andrew.
I'm B.
And this is us. Unlike the show, we are actually interesting.
There's a show called that?
I think so. It was some like drama show that had a bunch of like separated like individual stories about stuff. And although apparently there was like this part was in one year, this part was in another year. I don't know the details because I never watched it, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to the
Bobcast. It's a Bobcast. I claimed that earlier when you were gone.
Oh, the Bobcast.
The Bobcast.
Oh,
because Bob.
That's not a bad idea. Well, welcome to the Bobcast.
Bobcast.
where we solely talk about Bob the octopus.
Oh, I thought Bob was going to be like the host, but then I realized that Bob doesn't talk, so
yeah,
he can just kind of like make his tentacles like go on the microphone.
I bet the audience is loving this right now.
Oh, probably. It's ASMR with Bob. I like held out Bob to display him, but then I realized you're the only one that can see him, so
right, yeah. Hey everyone, look at Bob.
They can see us. Eventually we could do like a video podcast.
Oh yeah, eventually I do think we should. I have most of the equipment necessary to do so.
Like your fancy ring light over there?
Hey, it works. It doesn't provide that like ring effect because it's not really close.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's very difficult for that to actually happen, and I like it.
I feel like the audience needs to know I have neck pimples.
Ew.
Like there was that one, and then there's another one, and there's one over here, and I'm like, where are they coming from? I don't understand. I never thought that would be a problem I'd be facing in my early 20s.
Right. Well, especially in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Because
I was told that pimples went away when you, like, you know.
When you grew up?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Like.
Nope.
Because, like, I didn't have that bad face acne. Actually, I've never had that bad of face acne.
Lucky you.
I know. Well, I mean, I have terrible, like, shoulder acne, which I think is, like, kind of my recompense, so to speak.
Okay, yeah.
But, yeah, in general, I've had a pretty clean face, so to speak.
All my acne is, like, on my face. A little bit on the back, I guess. Occasionally I have, like, thigh acne. That's really weird.
No,
or, like, random acne. Like, you'll have to have a random pimple on your knee or something.
Oh, that's weird.
You've never had that?
Not on your knee.
Oh, yeah, I've had random pimples just
I feel like that might have happened to me once, actually, now that I think about it. But I didn't feel like it was a pimple, though. I don't know. It was just, like, it felt like a welt.
Oh, okay.
Of some kind.
Yeah, I occasionally get pimples random places on my body, but most of them are on my face.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to have, like, back acne or shoulder acne. Like, I wear a t-shirt all the time, so no one would ever see it, and I feel like it wouldn't damage my confidence as much as, like, face acne.
Right, because your face is, like, it's almost supposed to be an embodiment of who you are, or, like when people look at you, the first thing that they notice is your face.
They better.
Yeah. Actually, isn't that, like, a scientific thing that, like, when somebody looks at a random person, the first thing that they go to is the eyes? Something. I forget if it's the eyes or...
I mean, in general, humans are attracted to other human faces.
Yeah.
But, you know, some guys look at other things.
Gosh.
Just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong, but that's gross.
Yeah. Guys are gross. How do you live with yourself knowing that you are a guy?
I don't know how to answer that.
I guess the same way I live with myself knowing I'm a girl.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a thing, and knowing the stereotypes that are out there, I try my hardest to avoid those stereotypes. But yeah, like under certain circumstances, like if I did a couple of things to change my day-to-day schedule, I would become the stereotypical like guy that lives in the parents' basement eating potato chips kind of guy. And I am so close to becoming that, but I am actively trying to avoid that so much that I'm like this weird in-between where I'm like, I'm not fat, but I'm definitely not fit. And I'm not lazy all the time, but I am not productive by any means. And yeah, it's really interesting. Anyway.
I don't really actively try to avoid any stereotypes. Like, I don't know, I'm just kind of me.
You are who you are.
Yeah.
You are very unique.
Thank you.
That is 99% a compliment.
Woo. Wait, no one with the 1%.
The 1% is just me being like, yeah, you're a little weird.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Like
everyone has that thing that's really weird that you've learned about them and you're like, oh.
Anyway, if you've listened to this podcast before, or even if you're a first-time guest...
welcome!
Yeah, welcome if it's your first time listening. What we do here on this podcast is that we bring up a random word generator from our handy-dandy computer, and we kind of see where the conversation goes from there. So, with that being said, computer, are you ready to generate a new word? Yeah, okay.
Hooray! Good job,
right.
Computer.
Yep, good job, computer. All right, and drum roll, please.
Hang on, Bob is in the way. Okay.
Oh, and the word is...
modest.
Modest. Ooh, I like
could talk
this
about
one.
this for a long time.
Oh, yes.
You know what this reminds me of?
Uh-huh.
That YouTube video of those two dudes who are like, modesty is honesty, modest is hot. Yeah.
I was definitely thinking about that, too.
Yep. That was a great video.
Yeah, I honestly...
Are you saving your armpits for your wife?
Oh my gosh. Maybe I need to see it again because I originally found that video to be so annoying. Just because it just repeated the same line over and over again in my head.
Well, that's the chorus. It's the catchy part.
Right. So. Yeah. And when the catchy part is annoying, then
yep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of the Selena Gomez song I heard. I heard the song like one time. I obviously heard it more than that, but like the first time I ever heard it, I was going along and I was like, oh, this song is okay. You know, I can kind of vibe with it. By the end of the song, I was like, please make it end. The chorus was just so repetitive, and she didn't change it up at all. And she, like, at the end of the song, she repeated the chorus so many times, like,
oh my gosh,
more than the bridge of a worship song.
She must have really liked that chorus.
Apparently. It was bad.
Yeah, like, there are some songs that are out there that do that, and I'm like, gosh, just
end my suffering.
End my soul.
Oh, that's weird to think about. Oh my gosh.
Like, it wasn't a century ago, but it was in last century.
Yeah. What restaurant is this? What is this restaurant known for?
Sandwiches.
Okay, I was thinking of that.
So and I went in there and I always enjoyed the music that they picked out. But like in the past like 4 months or so, they have changed it to just generic pop music.
No.
And I literally went in there today and they played Old Town Road, which I'm sorry if people like that song. I do not.
It's like a meme song at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, musically, I think it's phenomenal in terms of, like, that's never really been done before.
Sure, yeah, it's inventive.
But, like, I don't know, it's not for me.
Yeah.
If it has country in it, it's not for me.
Yeah. Also, weirdly, like, I think it depends, but I really hate it when singers do the, like, overly passionate voice where, like, okay, it's like when your younger sibling tries to sing a song really well.
I know exactly what you're talking about. My little sister used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, she wasn't a bad singer, but she would, like, try too hard.
Yeah.
And it made it sound bad.
My sister's done that too. And
thankfully, she's learned, and she's good now.
Yeah, same actually. But yeah, I'm glad I could use that analogy. Modesty. So,
well, specifically modest, not necessarily modesty.
True. Although modesty is a form of modest.
Yes.
So, like, because you can just say, like, a person who is modest.
Me.
They are practicing being modesty.
So what do you, when you hear the word modest, what do you think of?
When I think of modest, I think of non-sexual. Like, specifically either somebody or something trying to present themselves in a way that does not lend them to being a sexual person. That was a very complicated thing. Basically,
that was very complicated.
Basically, people dressing to not be sexy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I that's kind of what was my first thought. Was that, you know, but then the second thought was, like, it's also a personality trait. Like, you can be like a modest person.
Right, yeah. Oh, you're being modest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, so, like, I guess kind of like an overall definition of it is not presenting yourself in a selfish way. Or like
not flashy.
Yeah, not a flashy way.
Yeah.
Like a way that's not arrogant or
like you're not
showing off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you're not showing off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Dude, so I just was thinking about, like, the topic of modesty and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. I was raised thinking that modesty was like this super extreme thing. Oh. Like, for instance, my high school self would think that these pants are immodest.
Because they're so tight?
Well, I mean, they're not even that tight, though. But yeah, they're like fitting.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I don't think they're actually skinny. But, like, my high school self would have, like, been appalled to see somebody wearing these immodest pants.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I wore super baggy clothes in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was part of that, was because I was like, modesty.
Right, yeah.
I kind of took it too far. And it wasn't like I wouldn't wear shorts. Actually, I didn't wear shorts, but that was mostly because mosquitoes. But, like, yeah, it was... And I was very judgmental also back in high school.
That makes sense.
Like, of other girls' outfits and stuff. And it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean,
high school in general was just bad.
Oh, high school was garbage.
Yeah.
I think raising your kids to be modest is a good thing, but also, like, you don't take it too far.
Yeah.
Not that my parents took it too far, but I took it too far. Like,
I think more important than teaching your kids to be modest, you have to teach them about how their image can affect how they are perceived in a way. So, like, a person can dress modestly, but it, like, for instance, a while back, my sister wanted to get a choker. And it was just like a cute, like, little, what's the embroider kind of thing. Like, it had lace? A lace. Like, it was very a lacy choker, if that's a word.
I don't know.
But and when I originally saw that, my initial thought was that is going to change how people see her dramatically. Maybe not dramatically, but it's going to change the way people see her, or at least people who don't know her.
Chokers are kind of more edgy.
Yeah, exactly. And in the same way, if you wear something that is not modest, then people are going to view you as more of a sexual person. Now, granted, there are some people that are blessed or cursed or otherwise with better looking bodies, so to speak, and for some people it might genuinely be harder to cover up certain things. And that's where it kind of becomes a little more difficult in terms of, you know, how do you go about deciding what to wear, or like, do you cover yourself up completely and wear these baggy clothes? Or?
Yes, I will wear like a big epic cloak with a hood and not show anything. I will be a formless blob.
To be fair, though,
the peak of modesty.
To be fair, though, cloaks are cool.
Yeah, dude. I actually, if I had a cloak, I would totally wear that. Not even for the modesty thing, just for the epicness.
Oh yeah. Like,
I would feel so cool wearing a cloak.
I thought this a bunch of times, and I know this kind of leans into the more like weebish kind of thing. But I really wish cloaks were in fashion.
Yeah.
Because they're so cool. Like,
I guess I could just wear one. I just haven't found one, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really a caring about fashion person, so.
Yeah. I mean, neither am I. Literally, half of my wardrobe is gym shorts and the other half is jeans.
Yeah.
So I'm not a person that cares about fashion that much.
Mine is black shorts. I have a pair of jean shorts. And then black jeans.
Oh, you're being modest.
No, I'm being emo.
No, okay.
No, I learned recently that I prefer black jeans just because, like, it goes with everything and it looks a little nicer than blue jeans. Like, they're multi-purpose. Like, if I would go into some dressy event, I could wear the jeans I'm wearing right now.
Yeah.
Whereas blue jeans, they're only casual, you know?
Yeah, unless you go to a country wedding, then it's basically what everyone wears.
Yeah, not happening.
Yeah.
You said the word country and I was out.
You were out.
Nope, ain't doing that.
Well, it doesn't have to be a country wedding, more just like an outdoor Midwestern wedding.
Yeah, I'd still wear black jeans.
Yeah, that's fair.
Ooh, I have an interesting idea, or topic idea. Modesty for guys.
I was actually thinking about that earlier. Where,
what are your thoughts on that?
Well, because you were talking about how when you were in high school that you would wear all these baggy clothes because you were very invested in the idea of being modest. And when you said that, I thought to myself, okay, what did I do to try to be modest? And I realized I did not even think about the idea at all. And then I realized, what does modesty for guys even mean? How can a guy be immodest? And the first thing that came to mind was, well, a Speedo.
Oh, gosh.
Like, but it kind of goes into this whole idea that, you know, guys can be topless, girls obviously can't.
Yeah.
And at what point does a guy become immodest? Like, does he have to wear a shirt? Does he have to wear shorts or pants? Obviously, most of the time, you probably do.
Just a dude walking around in his underwear.
Yeah, I guess that might be the point, honestly.
Although boxers are a thing, so I guess you could walk around in your underwear and it'd look like shorts.
Literally in middle school, there was a guy, he forgot his gym shorts one day, but he had a really large pair of boxers, so he just wore that, and the sub for that day didn't even notice.
Oh, gosh.
And, like, all of the guys were just cracking up the entire hour. It was great.
Classic.
Yeah, but modesty for guys is an interesting subject because it is very different and very much more lax than girls. And because of that, I don't think a lot of people pay attention to it or even consider it most of the time. And I also think it kind of goes into the fact that guys aren't as widely sexualized, or if they are, it is because of like that hot and sweaty topless form, or like all the muscular and stuff.
Oh, that just sounds so gross to me. Like, sorry to all the hot, sweaty, muscular dudes out there, but
I just see it as a trope a lot, where like guy takes off his shirt, he's super muscular, and the girls are like, oh.
Yeah, and he's all like shiny, like he's wet somehow.
Yeah, he's sparkling.
Yeah, I did not find that attractive.
No, and that's fair, but it's definitely a cliche.
Oh, yeah.
And I find that to be interesting because that is signifying an attractive guy, but not an immodest guy. But at the same time, that is also the main way that people sexualize men, other than, you know, the size of their...
Badonkadonk.
Yeah, exactly. But that's honestly, and even that's more of a joke most of the time. Either that or it's, you know, really sexual.
I just think it's interesting that guys don't have to wear shirts, but girls do. Personally, I like my men wearing shirts. Like...
No, that's fair. I mean, you would not want to see me shirtless.
No, I don't want to see anybody shirtless. Like... No, thank you. Everyone can just keep their clothes on, and I can appreciate your beautiful face and your beautiful personality. And, you know, if I marry you, we can, you know, have fun times or whatever. But
yeah.
I don't really think about people's bodies that way.
Yeah, and I mean, the biggest reason that any part is considered to be too immodest for regular showing is because it usually has to do with the reproductive process. So, for instance, a woman's chest is used for breastfeeding. And because of that, and it is also a sensitive area, a lot of people want to cover that up, whereas for guys it's just muscle. So why can't if that's the case, why can't women just wear a bra and not a shirt? Because it would be the same thing as a guy wearing underwear only. Okay, I could do it. Yeah, I'm just thinking like belly buttons and stuff. That's considered immodest if you're a girl. True. It okay. Actually, but if you're a dude, it doesn't apply. Like, that doesn't make any sense. No, you're bringing up a good point, because I was blurring the lines between immodesty and sexual. So that's actually an interesting line to draw, because if you're being sexual, then if you're trying to avoid just being sexual, the only thing that a woman needs to cover up is, you know, her most private parts. And the inside of my mouth. No one ever sees that. I mean, yes. Oh, actually, unless they video chat me, then they usually see it. Because, you know, the camera's there, and I just go, on the... yeah. That's how you know you're my friend. If I video chat you and you're my friend, I'll usually go to the camera. That's fair. Yeah. And I will also say, like, that's why people brush their teeth. Oh. But that's right, because when you smile, I guess when I talk, you see the inside of my mouth every time. Yeah, technically. But yeah, the line between modesty and sexual is kind of interesting. Also, pretty sure we're going to have to rate this episode a PG-13 episode. Oh, yeah. Although, honestly, though, most of our episodes kind of are. Yeah, we usually get to PG-13 kind of topics. Yeah, just because we don't mind really what we talk about. Yep. I think it's odd that there seems to be this double standard with modesty between guys and girls. Right. Explain further. Well, especially with the shirtless thing. I know this was an issue a few years ago, mostly. But, like, if you go to the pool, for instance, like, guys can just not wear a shirt. Girls, you know, they have to cover themselves. That's really weird to me, that there seems to be this double standard. And especially, like, dress codes and things. Like if you're a girl, like, sometimes in schools, you can't even, like, show your shoulders. Like, oh, no, your shoulders. Yeah, it's true. Although... Is that same limitation applied to men? For one story I read, no. Like, if a girl wears a tank top, sometimes they do the thing where they're like no cutoffs. So, like, as far as like where it's like super far down. Right. Oh, I hate those things. Yeah, they just kind of. I'm like, you're literally just putting a sackcloth on you. Yeah. It's like, so. You're not like. Yeah. Covering anything, like. Yeah, like. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, the kind of people who wear those are usually the kind of people I don't really like. Same. Although, no, yeah, that is most of the time the case. Yep. No offense to people who wear those things. Full offense to people who wear those things. What are you doing with your life? Oh gosh. But I will say that, like, not through personal experience necessarily, but also just in general, the way that I've seen it is schools tend to, although they are more strict on women. Mm-hmm. Generally, the rules apply the same in terms of you have to cover up all of, like, you know, both your top and your bottom to a certain degree. I know that some schools have a rule where, like, you can't have shorts that don't cover your knees or something like that.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I know.
Good luck finding shorts that do that.
I know, and also tall people. Like, come on.
Yeah. Also, if you're a girl, that's impossible.
Fair enough.
I think it's interesting how people are like, girls, you need to dress modest because men will look at you and sexualize you if you don't. Like, I'm not sure the problem here is the girls dressing. I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but also, like, how about you teach the men to just not sexualize women?
On one hand, you do have girls that, you know, they are taught, you know, don't dress modestly because then men might sexualize you and...
Don't dress modestly?
Oh, well, you know.
You said don't dress modestly. I know what you mean, but the podcast might not know.
Yes, I mean, they need to dress modestly so that guys don't sexualize them and possibly take further actions. Mm-hmm. Yes, there is also a responsibility on men to not sexualize women. Mm-hmm. I'm wanting to find a middle balance between the two. And I do think that the balance is on the side of women need to dress more modestly and not more on the side of men need to not sexualize women. Yeah, no, I'm saying that correctly. Because what I don't want to have happen is that the blame... Okay, currently the blame is shifting more on the women than it is the men. Mm-hmm. And I understand that because the women are the ones who are more... they are the victims in this situation. What I don't want to have happen is to be more than 180 to the other direction so that men, like... I'm trying to say this in a way that doesn't sound wrong. Because I'm not saying that, you know, men shouldn't be accountable for their actions, because they do need to be accountable for their actions, and they don't need to sexualize women. But at the same time, I don't want to have women just wearing whatever they want in the streets, and then if a man looks at her, then they're like, oh, you're sexualizing me, get him arrested or whatever. Like, I know that's in a complete extreme, but it's an extreme that I want to avoid.
So you're saying we shouldn't place all the blame on the men?
Yes.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I agree.
It is very hard to dance around that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yes.
Yeah.
And I do agree. I don't think that all the blame is on the men. I mean, okay. Yes, you should be able to control your urges, but also... It's kind of like it's like if I were to put a chocolate bar in front of you and it's delicious and you really want it, and I say, okay, you can't think about the chocolate bar, you can't look at it, you can't eat it, nothing.
Right.
Like,
yeah. Or a delicious steak or something.
Yeah.
And
I am a delicious steak of a woman.
I mean, it could be any food, honestly,
yeah.
or anything tempting. Like, you could put a video game that's just in my room and just say, don't play it, don't look at it, don't do anything to it.
Don't even think about it.
Don't even think about that video game that you really want to play. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I don't really want to play it. It's just there. And, like, and yeah, it's a hard subject to talk about because a lot of people just go straight to blaming the man, and a lot of times that is the case. A lot of times you should just blame the man because the woman is probably dressing somewhat modestly. Mm-hmm. But we want to have accountability on both sides of the argument.
That's a good way to put it. Accountability on both sides.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'd say it's like more blame on the men. Like, do you remember, just kidding, you weren't at college when that happened.
Oh.
They have... Okay. Reset. They have these art exhibits of, like, clothing that are, like, hung up. And it's, like, signs that say, like, I was wearing this when it happened. And it's, like, a, you know, jeans and a t-shirt. And, like, all of the clothes just go around doing stuff like that. And it's, like, kind of saying it's not necessarily about what you wear. It's more about, like, the person's actions.
Right.
The attacker's actions.
Right, yeah. And admittedly, like, even if a woman is just walking around in a bikini, that should not give a guy any reason to do anything wrong to her.
No, it does not give permission to do anything.
No. However, if a girl gets looks because she is wearing something that is sexual, then she shouldn't be surprised to getting those looks. Whether she intentionally dresses like that or not. And that's where we kind of get into a sticky area where, okay, is what the person was wearing, like, was it modest or whatever? And even if it was or wasn't, that doesn't give any reason for the guy to do anything bad to her. But if a guy looks at a woman because she's sexy, I'm sorry, that is just instinct or urges that have existed since the beginning of time. Yeah. And I don't like to bring up that argument, but it is true.
That men are just wired that way?
Well, that a human is wired to reproduce. Like, not even saying that men specifically are sexually wired, although I can argue
men are way more crazy about sex than women, I feel like.
I would agree with that, honestly. But yeah, anyway, this entire thing is a sticky topic. Yep. It is very difficult to talk about, but really the only thing that I want to say is just think about it from all the different angles. And you should never take one side as the correct side or the incorrect side, rather. What I mean by that is you need to consider a lot of different facets of an argument and don't just hear one side and say, yes, that is correct.
Okay, I can see what you mean. Yeah.
Because it is very easy to get into a mindset that you agree with and that you like and to stick to that to a fault. And even if that mindset and thought process is morally correct or even just correct in general, that doesn't mean that you can or should ignore other arguments. In a way, it's kind of like it's good for you to talk with people you disagree with. Because then you can understand why you disagree with them.
I'll be honest, I just zoned out, man.
I mean, that's fair. B, are you modest?
I try to be.
You try to be.
I mean, I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt and a hoodie, and I don't flaunt myself around.
I guess I was more actually talking about humble modesty.
Oh, I mean, I definitely have issues with pride, but I try my best to be humble.
Yeah, I try my best to... I mean, everybody tries their best to be humble in a certain way. Anyway, I think that'll about do it for this episode of the Topical Burrito. Thank you all for listening in to this episode where we talked about the word modest. I know that this was kind of a more serious topic that we did. Yep. And this won't be what it is every week. Maybe I'll get a different word generator or something.
One that generates less serious words.
Yeah, because this is not the first time that this has happened.
Nope.
But
this one is way less serious than the other one generated.
Yeah, and honestly, we did talk about good things. Yeah. Things that are important to talk about.
I feel like we should say something like Andrew's opinions are not. I I feel like we should say Andrew's opinions are not B's opinions, and B's opinions are not Andrew's opinions.
Correct. We are two separate human beings that exhibit different kinds of opinions, and that creates discussion.
So just because Andrew says something doesn't mean I necessarily agree with it. Even if I don't argue, I'll just say,
Correct. And just because that B says something does not mean that I agree with it.
Although you can agree that Bob is cute, though, right?
I can very much agree that Bob is cute.
You know what you haven't done yet today?
Hug Bob?
Yes. Yeah. You must hug Bob. Isn't he great? He's so squishy. I love him.